Okay, so moving on again with this flighty or studious kind of student or way of learning. Okay, have a look at the studious one more. It's what we might call your more intrinsic or internal. Okay, so your interest is internal. You're doing this for yourself. Okay, your motivation is for your own curiosity and your own enjoyment. Okay, you probably enjoy the process, the task that you're doing, the practice that you're doing, trying to achieve getting better or better at one specific thing, and you get a sense of your own self accomplishment. Okay, so you're more normally this person might be more self confident, and you're not bothered about others' views. More and more, maybe with less popular instruments, wind instruments or whatever, that's harder, I think, for us sometimes. We're not the cool guitarist or the singer or the guy that sits down at the piano and plays the current pop tune. We have maybe at the beginning we have less interest in or ways through. So you've got to be a bit resilient to what other people think of what you're doing. So the more flighty possible way of learning is somebody who's more extrinsic, i.e. it's external factors. Okay, so this is the sort of person that is reliant on rewards or pressures, punishment, and it sounds a bit harsh, but humiliation. This might be, you've got a friend who's learning, or you're learning in a group, and you're the fear of being humiliated because they do better than you, or they pass, you don't. Punishment, obviously, so like if things taken away, you can't do this, you can't have that. Pressures, I think pressures can be either peer pressure, also it could be your own pressure. I've got to do as good as somebody else, okay, or rewards. Yeah, I'm going to get that money reward or day out or whatever if I achieve it. So these types of people are more focused on the gains achieved, the outcome of it, rather than enjoying the process. So if I work this hard, I'm going to get that better. I'm going to get that reward. I'm going to achieve that big shiny grade certificate. Nothing wrong with this, okay. And again, if you look at everybody in their lives, we use the above all the time. So people go to work. Does everybody enjoy their work? Not necessarily, but we get the reward of being paid for it, or we get the grades. If you think about people, similar things that this sort of motivation works in general, people that are dieting, fitness, or quit smoking. I done this one, and I found kind of quitting smoking, it was better to give myself, if I had a week without smoking, I would buy myself a shirt. If rather than thinking, I'm going to save up and buy a car, it's that quick result, positive back thing through. So, believe it or not, to get the best results, we need to use both. So this may be, you can carry on with this. You've got this self-satisfaction, shall we say, of pushing yourself hard to achieve something. But then why not give yourself that little reward for it? So you're working hard on playing. You're getting better and better and better. You're going to buy yourself a better instrument to actually just push that whole thing forward. So we can use both of those, but I think this one is sort of like, here we're more worried about what other people think. Okay, so moving it forward, we want to be more task involved in our learning rather than ego. So if it's ego, it's hey, we want to show off. We're worried about, we want to be better than the person next to us. We want to be the first person to get that to that level or whatever, and we're competing against our peers. No, those things do give us some motivation, but I know from my own self and from my own well-being or whatever, you're better off being more over this side than worrying about what other people are doing. So exactly what it is: one, concerned about own activities and not others' achievements or comparison by and to others. There's always going to be someone better than you. That's life. You can't beat that one. And maybe get that in your head in a positive way rather than a negative way. It's all about what you've achieved and looking for those new challenges, and enjoying competing with yourself rather than competing totally just to be better than that person. If you're in a wind band, you've got to be the solo player. You've got to be player number one. You know you can see your achievements through maybe as you go through. One thing I will say is, again, these things, human nature. Well, it's nobody wants to be the last man. Nobody wants to be embarrassed or humiliated when we go through it. I once run a group. My idea was that we would have 20 odd sax players. We'd start off with something easy. All levels would turn up. The good people would help the less experienced people. As it went through, you get to a point where it was too much for you to it was beyond your level of playing. So you wouldn't run away, you wouldn't feel embarrassed. You stand next to the person that can do it, grab yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and work alongside them. And then eventually you'd end up seeing, getting the help from the better players. What happened in the real world was, we started off with that at the beginning, or new players would come along at the beginning and go, this is too easy, or it doesn't sound very good, and then wouldn't come back. And it all came to the lower end. So, and then people would feel embarrassed if they couldn't play something. So you've got to be quite a strong character and more studious, sort of perfect student, shall I say, to be able to self-confident to get through that, admitting that, hey, somebody's better than me, but it doesn't matter because I'm getting better all the time. Modern world, pressures, especially on youngsters, of sort of needing to be seen as as good as other people, or if not better, and the ridicule that we can get if we're not. So that works against us. Human nature works against us. And then another key thing is having that supportive environment around you. If you've got people that not patronising you, but actually saying, hey, yeah, that was really, really good. You're so much better than last time, and being able to accept praise. That's one thing a lot of people actually can suffer with as much as being put down. You're not good enough. Sometimes people struggle with actually a bit of praise and being sort of told that they've done really, really well, and maybe there's that little wink or that little pat on the back without anybody else seeing is what that kind of person needs. So Flighty, Extrinsic, Studious, Intrinsic. We need to use both, and that's going back to what I was saying. It doesn't matter which side you are. Okay, it's sort of like trying to make little, take a bit of this. If you're more over here, try and achieve some of this. Okay, by maybe setting yourself small tasks as you go through. So task involved rather than ego. Okay, hopefully that will be some food for some thought in your practice and your approach.